Formula One's in trouble, real trouble. And the people running the sport, they won't say it out loud, but I will. The 2026 regulations, the hybrid engines, the active aero, the whole shiny future of F1 package. They're not the next evolution, they're a crisis. A crisis the FIA is pretending doesn't exist, while the drivers, the teams, and everyone with a functioning pair of eyes can see the whole thing's falling apart in real time. So let's stop dancing around it. The drivers, they hate these cars. Not dislike them, not concerned, they hate them. And when the most talented grid in history of the sport all start sounding like they're reading from the same hostage note, you know something's gone wrong, very wrong. Max Verstappen, the man who's built his career on making Formula One look easy, called the new cars Formula E on steroids. And he wasn't joking. He said he's already looking at options outside of the sport, because winning, it doesn't matter if the car's miserable to drive. When Max starts talking like that, it's not a warning, it's a threat. And Lewis Hamilton, he didn't sugarcoat it either. He said, the pace feels like GP2. The feeder series, a warm-up act. And then he dropped the bombshell. In qualifying, drivers are lifting off the throttle for 600 metres on the straight, just to save battery. 600 metres? That's not racing, that's rationing. That's Formula One turning into an energy saving tutorial. And Fernando Alonso, who's been in F1 longer than some drivers have been alive, said high-speed corners are now taking 50 kilometres an hour slower just to bank enough energy for the next straight. And then he delivered the line that should have made the FIA choke. Even a chef could drive through corners at these speeds. When Alonso starts mocking the sport like that, you know the respect is gone. And then Oliver Bearman, a kid who's got everything to prove, summed it up in just one word: sad. And that's the future of sport talking right there, and he's already disappointed. Let's get to the point the FIA really doesn't want you talking about: the safety. Because these new regulations, they're not just unpopular, they're dangerous. And I'm not talking about the drivers don't like the feel dangerous. I'm talking this could end careers dangerous. Andre Stella from McLaren, one of the calmest, smartest men in the paddock, laid out 3 safety hazards that need fixing before the first race. And when a man like Stella says imperative, you pay attention. First, the race starts. Without the MGUH, the turbo falls asleep when the driver lifts off. So to launch the car, you need 10 seconds of hard revving. 10 seconds! In testing, cars stalled, they bogged down, they just sat there like they were waiting for permission. Imagine the lights go out in Melbourne and half the grid trying to wake up. That's not a race start, that's a demolition derby waiting to happen. Number 2, the speed difference. When the battery dies, the car instantly loses around 600 horsepower. Toto Wolff said, the difference between 2 cars on the straights can be up to 50 or 60 kilometres an hour. That's not a gap, that's a rear end collision at 300 kilometres an hour, and the FIA knows it. Third, active aerodynamics. Both wings now move between low drag and high downforce modes. Well, that's a great idea in theory. But if the system fails, or the driver hits the wrong corner in the wrong mode, the car becomes a missile with a steering wheel. One glitch, one mistimed switch, one failure, that's all it takes. And while the drivers are trying to survive the car, the teams are trying a political war behind the scenes. And like any good F1 scandal, it all comes down to a loophole. The Mercedes compression ratio trick. The rules say the engine must run at 16:1. Mercedes allegedly designed components to expand when hot. So in the garage, the engine's legal. On the track, it creeps up to 18:1. That's 15 horsepower advantage. It's not massive, but in Formula 1, 15 horsepower, that's the difference between a podium and a press release. So Ferrari, Honda and Audi, they're all furious. They want the FIA to step in, but James Vowles, the man who always looks like he's already solved the next 3 problems, he warned that the rules change now, then 8 Mercedes-powered cars might not even make the grid. That's total redesign, total chaos, total political deadlock. And Ferrari, they're playing their own game. While they're fighting Mercedes on the engine front, they vetoed safety changes to the race start because their engine was designed around the current flawed system. That's protecting the advantage while complaining about someone else's. Classic Ferrari. Beautiful, infuriating and predictable. And here's the kicker. All of this, every argument, every loophole, every safety concern has to be resolved for March the 1st, because that's when the power units are homologated and everything's locked in, frozen. Whatever problems remain after that date, they stay. And for the whole season, not fixes, no patches, no second chances. People keep comparing these cars to Formula E, and while that's dramatic, it's not completely wrong. F1's still faster, still more extreme, still hitting over 350 kilometres an hour, but the influence is obvious. More electric power, more energy management, more complexity, more politics, less racing, less instinct and less soul. And this is truth no one wants to say out loud. Formula 1's losing the very thing that makes it Formula 1. Right now the drivers hate the cars, the teams don't trust each other, and the FIA is trying out its time. And the fans, they can see the cracks forming before their very eyes.